In this video, I'm gonna give you my yummy, delicious mint chocolate chip cake filling recipe. Hi, it's Karolyn. I'm a professional cake decorator, and on this channel, I share my tips and tricks and ways that I bake and decorate cakes to help you along your journey. So if you'd like to join me, hit the subscribe button and the bell so you can get notified whenever I release a new video. So I am making my mint chocolate chip filling, and is anyone out there a mint chocolate chip freak like me? That's my favorite ice cream flavor, and I love anything mint and chocolate, or chocolate and peanut butter as well, but we're not doing that in this one. But I just love chocolate mint, and I've had this flavor on my menu for a while. People do order it, but I think people are scared. They're a little scared to get it. So let's get into the video. All right, to make the full recipe, I'll give you the full recipe ingredients, and then when I make it, I'm going to do half the recipe. A full recipe requires 1 stick of butter, that's 4 ounces or 8 tablespoons. I like to use salted butter. 1 8-ounce block of cream cheese. I like to use full fat cream cheese, and also the Philadelphia brand cream cheese is my preferred brand. A half cup of shortening. I like to use high ratio shortening. This is Sweet Tech shortening. You can also use Crisco. I can link both in the description below. A 2-pound bag of powdered sugar, 10x confectioner sugar. My favorite flavoring ever, some Wilton clear vanilla or any kind of vanilla that you have. And you will need some peppermint extract. You must make sure that you do not use mint. If you use just regular mint extract like this, it's going to taste like toothpaste. No, disgusting, don't use it. So make sure you use peppermint extract. You will need some chocolate chips. These are just regular Nestle semi-sweet chocolate chips, and what I do, I put them in a food processor and turn the food processor on to kind of break it up into smaller pieces so it's not just all big chunks. There's a variation of the sizes. That's just personal preference, but that's what I like to do. So this is just regular semi-sweet chocolate chips. And some green coloring, just a little bit of green will make it that mint color. All right, to start, if I was making the full recipe, I would add this entire stick of butter. Since I'm just doing half the recipe, I'm going to do half of the stick. And this butter is also softened to room temperature. I forgot to mention that. And I would add all of the shortening if I was making the full recipe. Since I'm doing half the recipe, I'm doing a 1/4 cup of the shortening rather than a 1/2 cup. And then put that on a medium speed for about 30 to 45 seconds. And now I'm going to add the cream cheese. If I was making the full recipe, I would add the full block of cream cheese. Since I'm doing half the recipe, I will add half of it. And then mix that on about a 4 out of 10 for 30 seconds. You don't want to overbeat too much once you have the cream cheese added. And then I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla. So if you have, if you're doing a full recipe, you can add up to 1 teaspoon. I'm going to do about a 1/2 teaspoon, and I always eyeball it. You can measure it out if you like. And taking the peppermint extract, very, very important. Do I need to say it again? Do not use regular mint, use peppermint extract. And again, I'm going to add about a 1/2 teaspoon. And if I was doing a full recipe, I would add a full teaspoon. And I'm going to take my green coloring, a little bit of green. You don't want it to be dark green. You just want it to be a light green. So I'm just going to take a little bloop, just a little bit on there, and mix that together on about a 4 out of 10 for about 30 seconds. If you don't have a scraper blade, scrape down the sides. If you do have a scraper blade, you may not have to do that. And just mix again for about 5 seconds. And now I like to add a little bit of water before I add the sugar. It's just what I've been doing lately, so the icing doesn't stick to the bottom of the bowl. So I like to use water. You can use milk, you can use cream. You know, I just prefer to use water. I haven't noticed too much of a difference between using water and milk. But you can use either one. So this is about a tablespoon. It's a coffee scoop, but I like to use it. And I'm just going to put, this is, if it was a full recipe, I would do the entire tablespoon. Since it's just a half recipe, I'm going to do half of the tablespoon on the bottom. And then I'm going to add the powdered sugar. So I would add the entire bag, the entire 2-pound bag, if it was the full recipe. Since it's half the recipe, I'm going to add 1 pound of powdered sugar. It will be about 450 grams of powdered sugar. Now, if you want it to be less sweet, you can add a little bit less sugar, so you can play around with the ratios there. And I'm just going to take a towel and cover the bowl so I don't get a big sugar cloud in my kitchen. And I'm just going to put this on a low speed for about 30 seconds. All right, it needs a little more water because it's not incorporating. So I'm going to take another tablespoon of water and I'm just going to slowly pour it in here. So I'll start with a half a tablespoon. So you always want to add a little bit of liquid at a time when you have a cream cheese based icing, because there's a higher water content in the cream cheese, and it doesn't need as much liquid added. Scrape down the sides. So now I don't know if you could tell the consistency of this. It's still a little chunky, and chunky sounds gross. I need to stop saying that word, but I want to smooth it out just a little more. I'm going to add a tiny bit more water or liquid to it. So about 1/4 of a tablespoon more. You just really have to play around with the ratios of the liquid depending on how humid it is around or how thin you want your icing to be. Perfect, and this is a nice spreadable consistency and just what I'm looking for. Now that this was a full batch, I would probably add an entire 3/4 cup of chocolate chips, but since it's not, I'm going to add half of a 3/4 cup, and don't make me do the math. What's half of 3/4? I know you have to like cross multiply and divide, I don't know, but anyway, just filling that halfway full. And just mix that on low for about 10 seconds. And there is your delicious mint chocolate chip filling. Okay, I just want to show you real quick. I just filled this cake with that mint chocolate chip filling, and I want the cake to settle before I ice it. And you need to speed up the settling process when you have a cream cheese based filling so it doesn't sit out too long. So I'm going to wrap it in plastic. I have a video showing how I fill cakes in detail, and I will link that below. And then I like to have my cakes settle a little bit before I ice them. With cream cheese filling, you don't want it sitting out for more than 2 hours. So in order to speed up the process, this is a 6-inch cake. Here I have a 10-inch cake circle, and I'm going to put that on top. And then I have a plate. This plate, I don't know, what is this, 2 pounds? You know, a pound or something. But it's not very heavy. So you want something that has a little bit of weight to it, but not too much. And I'm just going to put that on top. Now, it's very important when you put it on top that it's not off to the side, because if you do that, then it's going to settle on an angle. So you got to kind of get low and make sure that plate is directly on top. And you can give it a little press to get it started, and just leave this sit out for about an hour or so, and then I can ice the cake and get it in the refrigerator. So here you go. Here is the delicious mint chocolate chip filling. And I have to say, look, it's creamy and delicious. It's such a good consistency. You really have to be careful with the amount of liquid that you add to this. So adding a little bit at a time, because it'll really bring the sugar together really quickly, quicker than when I do American buttercream. So adding a little bit of liquid at a time is key. And wait, I'm going to try it. Seriously. It's so good. I wish more people would order this. I think like I said, it's just one of those flavors that people are scared. But anyway, so to store this, I like to use Lock and Locks or any kind of Tupperware container. And you can keep it, you don't want to leave it sit out more than 2 hours. And you can keep it in the fridge for up to 2 weeks, or you can actually wrap it really well and freeze it for up to like 5 or 6 months. But I've never done that. I guess if you want to, you can. But Yeah, so when I fill a cake with this, you don't want it sitting out at room temperature longer than 2 hours. So when I work on the cakes, I just make sure that they're not sitting out too long and it stays in the refrigerator. So am I missing something? I feel like I'm forgetting to say something. If I remember it, I'll put it in the comments below. So I think that's it. Why am I just holding this? I think that's it. If you guys have any questions or comments, leave them below. And you can follow me on social media. I am on Insta, FB, and I have my website. I will link everything below as well. And if you want to stick around, you can watch these 2 videos next and hit the subscribe button and the bell if you haven't already. Please like this video if you liked it. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are so amazing. And remember, it's cake. Have fun. I will see you on the next one. Bye.